Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me here at the First Alert Desk. My name's Karli Barnett, and we want to give you a look at some of the stories that we are following ahead of your Thanksgiving holiday. In just a few minutes, we're going to have First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin over here. He is going to give you a look at 3 First Alert weather days ahead for your holiday weekend, so you'll definitely want to stick around because you want to know how to plan your holiday for tomorrow. Maybe you're traveling to multiple houses trying to get dinner here, dessert there, and then certainly for that Black Friday shopping that we know you may already be getting started on. And the weekend ahead, we got some cold days, so he will be joining us in just a few minutes. But first, we do want to get to some news that we have been following today. Atlanta News First has been on top of this breaking news since it happened. 2 DeKalb police officers were shot. They said that they were responding to an apartment complex in Decatur. They are in Grady Memorial Hospital tonight, but the good news here is that we have learned that they are expected to make a full recovery. We are told from the police department they are expected to be okay. Let's take you out to some video here. You can see bullet holes through the door. We learned it all unfolded at the Waldrop Cove Apartments off of Flat Shoals Parkway. That's just south of Decatur. DeKalb County Police Chief Mirtha Ramos says that they received an open line call. That means that nobody was on the line, but they heard arguing in the background. And when officers got there, they say the suspect's mother told them that her 20-year-old son was behaving aggressively. There was a dispute with somebody else in the home. And when police approached the door, as you saw from that video in the beginning, they say the suspect fired several shots. Now, we do want to show you some video here. Our cameras were rolling at Grady Memorial Hospital when those officers were transported there. Both officers were hit. The suspect took off. Despite being shot in the leg, one of the officers still pursued the suspect and apprehended him. So the scene blocked off parts of the community for several hours, of course, shocking many people in that neighborhood. The DeKalb County Police Chief said the 2 officers who were injured are Sergeant Matthews and Officer Howell. Matthews was shot in the upper leg. Howell was shot in the foot. And again, we are told they are expected to make a full recovery. So that is the good news here. We have our reporter, Madeline Montgomery. She is going to be giving us an update on this tonight. You can join us at 10 on Peachtree TV and 11 on WANF. Of course, you can always get up to speed on AtlantaNewsFirst.com and our Atlanta News First app. We have a full timeline of how the whole day transpired after this news broke. So again, our reporter, Madeline Montgomery, she's going to give us the latest tonight, what we know so far. But we are glad to report that those officers are said to be okay. As far as the identity of the suspect, police have not yet released his name. Something else notable that happened today, we have been following the historically long YSL trial, and after saying that they thought they were going to wrap things up before Thanksgiving, that was not the case. There are 2 more defendants that are still waiting to learn their fates. Of course, this trial did not end with rapper Young Thug. Of course, much of this was circulated around him, but there are still other defendants, 2 more, that have to learn what their fate will be as far as what a jury decides. So Atlanta News First anchor and attorney Joy Lim Nakrin, she was at the Superior Court today, and she has the latest on what happened.
Judge, there are there are 4 camera angles of the drive-by shooting, so we'll be prepared to play one of them or all of them.
That's Fulton County Chief Deputy District Attorney Adrian Love after the jury deliberating the YSL RICO case requested to rewatch key videos presented in evidence. We asked about this moment in court in a one-on-one interview with defendant Diamante Kendrick's attorney, Doug Weinstein.
What I'm hoping they were thinking is, we want to make sure that the car he got into was that white Pontiac.
The inquisitive jury even asked the judge to clarify the meaning of intent and intent to distribute, related to several counts, including a drug charge, a gun charge, and a gang charge for counts listed in the indictment against Kendrick, aka Yak Gotti. He and Shannon Stillwell are facing charges of violating the RICO Act, murder, and more.
Also, please have Attorney Weinstein clarify if he said my client's watch, or where is the watch?
Judge Paige Reese Whitaker also sharing that juror question. A sign this predominantly black jury made up of 8 women and 4 men is carefully considering the evidence.
You know, clearly I think they're being thoughtful, and it seems to be that they're trying to confirm what they may have come to some agreement on.
Had to take myself off mute there. Now, of course, Thanksgiving is tomorrow. Maybe you have already arrived to your destination. Maybe you are going to your destination. Maybe you have family visiting you. But of course, we here in Atlanta, we are home to the world's busiest airport. So you can obviously, of course, anticipate there is going to be, a lot of traffic both on the streets and in the skies. And I actually was just looking at Flight Aware to see what was going on at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. The good news there is things seem to be operating pretty smoothly overall. Looked like there were, it says, only 9% of their flights were delayed, 0% were canceled. That's good news. Our reporter Blake Devine, he is going to have more on this for you tonight. But in the meantime, he was in our First Alert tracker to get an idea of what things were looking like.
I'm Blake Devine reporting from Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, where it's busy as can be on the eve of Thanksgiving. We're expecting over 4 million passengers to fly in and out of this airport this week alone. Here's a live look at what it looks like at this current time in the ride into the South Terminal. You can see a long line of cars within the arrivals area here at the airport. Wednesday will be one of the busiest travel days of the year, and it's easy to understand why. When you count all these cars, the busiest day for flights is actually forecast to be on Sunday. So if you're planning on picking up or dropping off friends or family, you may want to pack your patience.
All right, and of course, we're going to check back in with Blake a little bit later tonight. And speaking of that Thanksgiving travel, let's go ahead and take you out to Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. We've got a live look for you. And go ahead and get ready because might be a bit of a rainy start to the Thanksgiving, Cutter. If we have to get those maybe last minute ingredients that we forgot, or maybe we're getting started early. I know a lot of people do turkey trots. I'm not one of those individuals, but there are people out there that are into that sort of thing.
I used to be into that sort of thing. Not so much these days, but if you are doing something early in the morning in the city of Atlanta in particular, before 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, rain could impact some of those plans. And even if you don't have anything to do tomorrow morning, rain and maybe even some thunder, some lightning could wake you up tonight. So just don't be surprised if your neighborhood, your area, is impacted by some showers and thunderstorms. Not looking like everyone's going to get poured on necessarily, but we will certainly have some showers and thunderstorms moving through this evening and overnight tonight. Again, I want to thank you for tuning in and for watching this Atlanta News First Plus stream. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin. I want to remind you, we are streaming in a few different places right now. Atlanta News First on YouTube, that is one, a place where you can ask your weather questions, get some clarification on the forecast. You can also text us, 470-777-WANF. That's 470-777-9263. And there is so much weather to talk about. Big changes on the way. In fact, probably have already noticed some of those changes today. The clouds kind of moved in, just a little cloudier than it has been the past few days. And I think spotty rain is possible this evening. Even before midnight, the main show, so to speak, the main, rain chance is in the wee hours of our Thanksgiving morning. But we're starting to see a little bit more activity develop off to the west. So do keep that in mind. There could be a little bit of rain around, even for the late evening plans this evening, especially if you are west or northwest of Atlanta, in particular, Rome, Floyd County, Chattooga County, back towards Lafayette and getting up towards Chattanooga. Also, maybe Haralson County, over into Cleburne, Randolph counties in Alabama. You all could see a little bit of rain. Bartow County, Cartersville, Paulding County, Polk County. These areas west and northwest of the city of Atlanta could have a little bit of rain this evening. Focus still, however, is early tomorrow morning, and there is the potential 1 or 2 storms could become strong to severe. A low risk of some wind gusts, 50 to 60 miles an hour. Can't totally rule out an isolated spin-up tornado, but again, what we're really watching here is the risk of isolated to scattered showers and thunderstorms. Just 1 or 2 of those could become strong to severe, and the risk, on that note, it is pretty low. We don't want to dismiss it. We're not going to ignore it, but at the same time, not looking like it's any sort of, widespread risk of severe weather or likely chance that you're going to see severe weather or anything like that. But we will be keeping an eye on it as showers and thunderstorms continue to organize to our west and move in. In fact, here is our forecast model, a more recent run of this forecast model, which has been doing a fairly decent job with how things have gone so far today. So that gives me confidence it has the right idea and how the rest of tonight and our Thursday will unfold. And again, we'll bring you back here to right now and then walk you hour by hour further into the overnight period and then on into your Thanksgiving Thursday. So we have the clouds. Temperatures have actually managed to cool into the low to mid 50s. Temperatures are going to do a weird thing, though. Winds are going to shift out of the south, and while it's not that breezy now, I would say by 11, midnight, 1 a.m., it's going to be breezy to windy. You may even hear the wind a little bit tonight, so do keep that in mind. Even away from storms, winds are going to crank up a bit. There's that spotty rain chance even before midnight. Here we are, 1, 2 a.m. Temperatures are actually starting to warm up overnight. Typically they cool until about sunrise. Not the case tonight. It's not the setup. South wind, warmer air blowing in from the Gulf Coast, and by 1 to 2 o'clock in the morning, there will be some showers and thunderstorms roaming North Georgia and metro Atlanta, mainly initially north and west of the city of Atlanta. But as we get to that, 3 to 5 o'clock time frame, greatest rain chance for metro Atlanta, moving in from the north and west. So northwest suburbs, impacted first. Southeast side of town, the last to get rid of the rain as we get into Thanksgiving morning. Here we are, 4 a.m., and we have isolated to scattered downpours moving through. Brief heavy rain, some breezy to windy weather, because it's already going to be windy, and any of these downpours could transport down some stronger winds. Here we are, 6 a.m., still a little bit of rain around, even 7 o'clock in the city of Atlanta. As Karli mentioned, if you are doing some sort of turkey trot, if you are heading out to the grocery store, I know some stores, like Kroger, I believe, is one that is open tomorrow with adjusted hours. If you are headed out early in the morning, could encounter some rain, especially from Atlanta onto the south and east, 7, 8, 9 a.m. We're tracking those final few showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms moving through Eatonton County, Butts County, Upson County, well south and east of Atlanta. But I would back this up here and say Atlanta is done by maybe 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning with that risk of showers and thunderstorms. And watch what happens as we get into the afternoon. We began the day in the 60s. Like I said, temperatures are going to warm up this evening and overnight tonight, and then fall behind the rain. Temperatures remain in the 40s and 50s tomorrow afternoon. Case in point, here we are at 4 p.m. Blairsville 47, 56 in Atlanta, 52 in Carrollton, 54 in Lawrenceville, 58 Covington. Thomaston, the only spot forecast to be at 60 at 4 p.m. And this is with breezy winds and a gradually clearing sky. So forecast high temperatures technically occurring far earlier than they normally do, in the morning time. Afternoon will be spent in the 50s, and it will be breezy, so it will feel chilly. Do keep that in mind, and winds will gust, 20 to 30 miles an hour or so. Not incredibly windy, but it'll be breezy to windy at times. Just some of those wind gusts up around 30 miles an hour, so do keep that in mind. If you are eating outside in the afternoon, you're not going to be dealing with rain, but you're going to be dealing with chilly temperatures, and it will be windy. You're going to need to put, rocks down on the tablecloths to keep everything from flying away. And if you have paper plates, it's going to be a little bit hard to keep everything on the table if you do plan to set up outside. So just keep that in mind. Much the same on Black Friday. It's chilly. In fact, cold Friday morning, Black Friday afternoon. Many of us stuck in the 40s, officially going for a high temperature of 52 in Atlanta. 52 Saturday afternoon. That's after a widespread light freeze in the morning. City of Atlanta 34, City of Atlanta 35. That's Saturday and Sunday mornings, of course. The city tends to be just a little bit warmer than just about everyone else, so you can shave 4 or 5 degrees off of those temperatures, and that's a good look at morning lows outside of I-285 and well away from the core of the city. And then more cold air as we get into Monday, kind of another blast of cold air moving in. Temperatures drop again. We're going to wake up to temperatures in the 20s to near 30 Monday morning and widespread 20s, even colder Tuesday morning. Light breezes will add an extra, take off, should say an extra 5 to 10 degrees. That's what it will feel like wind chill wise out the door. Could have our first hard freeze in Atlanta. Again, hard freeze, 28 or colder for a few hours, forecasting 29 now, but we may sneak out a little bit of colder weather, even colder than that, Tuesday morning. And if we get to 28, we sit there for a bit, or colder, that would be our first hard freeze since January 22nd of this year. So certainly it is cold stuff. Each morning is in the 30s after tomorrow morning, and many, this is Atlanta's forecast, many outside of Atlanta will be even colder than that. And it's possible that many areas could, tally up 5 to 6 freezes over the next 7 days, with just a gradual warming trend as we get into the middle of next week. So again, we'll keep you updated on the risk of thunderstorms tonight. First Alert Meteorologist Patrick Pete and I will have the 10 o'clock on Peachtree TV, Atlanta CW. He'll handle the late show tonight at 11. That latest data coming in, probably tracking showers and thunderstorms developing and then moving in by that point. So very firm grasp on the forecast. We're pretty confident a morning risk of showers and a couple of thunderstorms. Northwest side, wee hours of the morning. Far southeast side, some of these will linger past sunrise. But then as we get into, mid-late morning, afternoon, it's chilly, it's breezy, but it's dry for all of those outdoor plans. So I do want to thank you for tuning in and for streaming Atlanta News First Plus. First Alert Meteorologist Patrick Pete will also be recording an updated forecast video and putting it in the First Alert weather app. Just another way that we can keep you updated. I know a lot of folks are busy, family, friends, loved ones coming into town. Maybe already there. You can't just sit in front of the TV necessarily, but you can always get the First Alert forecast in the First Alert weather app and on AtlantaNewsFirst.com. Wishing you a wonderful evening before Thanksgiving, a happy Thanksgiving and Turkey Day. Keep an eye on the forecast tomorrow morning with some of these storms moving through, and then get ready for a big cold heading into the holiday weekend.